Y'all just got to see my messy room, but oh my gosh, it kicked me off. So sorry, y'all. It kicked me off. Hey, Homeschool Realm, how are you? Hey, Matthew. It just kicked me off a scope. I'm so sorry. I don't know why it did that. Hey, Carla. I'm back. It kicked me off. Hey, Baseball Freak. How are you doing? Now y'all's colors have all changed. I've got to remember who's who now. My goodness. For those of you who were not here for part 1 of the scope, we're talking about this book. We're talking about my life. We're talking about my children. We're talking about my family. Toxic, emotionally abusive people, narcissists, sociopaths. Hey, what's going on? You're green now. Okay. Toxic people, they're the people that tear you down. They're the people that make you doubt yourself. They're the people that draw you away from your true identity. They're the people that pour lies into you instead of pour truth into you. They're the ones that tear you down instead of encourage you. That's toxic people. That's toxic people. There's a couple other books that I've read that are super good. Safe People is one of them. It is very good. It talks a lot about toxic people. The other ones that I love are Boundaries and Beyond Boundaries. Those are amazing resources, all of those books. There are so many people that have come from relationships like that. Hey guys, I'm so sorry. It kicked me off of the first one. So we're going with part 2. We're going with part 2 right now. Yes, there are so many people dealing with toxic relationships, toxic families, all of it, toxic marriages, sometimes even toxic children. I have some friends who, hey guys, thanks for joining. I have some friends that have toxic children. It was not your phone. It kicked me off. So I'm back. It's very hard if you're in friendships even. Friendships can tear you down more than you could ever even imagine. Yes. And that's one of the ways that you know. If you walk away from a conversation with somebody and you feel worse about yourself, not in a conviction way, not in a, oh, I need to work on this aspect of my life to become a better person. That's different. That is a person encouraging you in truth. Because if you get to a place where you say, in order to be a better person, I need to change this about myself. That's truth. That's love. That's encouragement. If you walk away and you feel worthless, if you feel stupid, if you feel bad about yourself, if you feel like you're never going to be able to change, if you feel like you as a person and who you are is terrible, then whoever just spoke over you needs to be cut out of your life, because what they are speaking into your life is lies and deception, and they are not allowed any authority in your life. None. Cut it out. Like, move on. Bye, Felicia. Bye, Felipe. Bye, Fernando. Whatever. Everybody says all these different things. Like, those people are not allowed to speak into your life. Cut off 5 friendships in the last 10 years. You know what? I've had a complete revamp of my friendships. And it's a constant revolving door of, maybe this person was meant for my life at one point, but they are not meant for my life right now. And that's okay too. All made me feel bad after I talked to them. And that's a huge red flag. That's the major red flag. That's the easiest way to know if someone should be in your life or not. Attract toxic people. Simply Humble. That was my life for so long. And the reason I was attracting toxic people is because that was what I believed was okay. Whether I said it with my mouth or not, I believed deep down that that was okay. It was an okay way to be treated. So in some way, I was speaking that into my life. I was speaking those friendships into my life. Because I would say things about myself, just little things, and I still do it, and I have to catch myself. I still do it. But I would say little things about myself, like I had to change the wording on my post today for my fasting. When I posted it on my Facebook, my original post, I said, I'm making it. I may not be very strong, but I'm making it. And I had to I felt convicted over that. I'm strong right now. I'm kicking this fasting in the butt. I am growing. There's so much growth. There's so much work being done in this time of fasting in my life right now. Why would I put out there that I'm not being strong right now? Because something in me felt that way for that moment. And that was what I was going to put out there for the world to see. And so the type of people that were going to be attracted to that post were going to be the ones who do see me as weak. And they're going to say, oh, let me go read this post because she's talking about her weakness. No. So instead, I changed the wording and I put, day 14 of my fast, going strong. Going strong. Because I want people to not look for the weakness in me. The people who desire to see weakness in me, to not seek for that weakness, to not look for that weakness. I'm very open about my weaknesses. I'm open about it. That doesn't mean I have to focus on it. That doesn't mean I have to let that define me. So little things like that have been a major change for me when it comes to what types of friendships I have. And if you look at people who have strong relationships with other people, who have encouraging relationships with other people, they are not the people that are talking down about themselves, even in a little way. They are not the people talking down about themselves on Facebook. They are not the people who have that attitude of, I can never do anything right. They are not those people. They are not those people. And I remember when I shifted my focus and I shifted my thought process to, I'm amazing. I'm an overcomer. I am strong. Like, I'm encouraging to other people. I have a story to tell. I'm good at what I do. I'm talented in my position and my job. I'm great in ministry. When I changed my focus to those things, all of those people who saw me as weak started dropping like flies. Dropping like flies. And they came to me, they're like, you're so egotistical. You're so this, you're so that. No. It was because I finally stopped beating myself up in front of everybody else. And I finally started speaking the truth of who I was and speaking truth into my life. And if anybody calls you egotistical or vain or full of yourself for saying that God made you special, that God has given you talents, that God has called you to amazing things, if anybody tries to tell you that what God has called you to is not great and powerful and earth-changing, if anyone starts speaking that into your life, they desire to hold you down. They desire to keep you weak. And if they get mad at you for speaking the truth and saying, no, I can change the world. God desires great things for me. I am an amazing person. If someone looks down on you for saying those things about yourself, cut them out because they have no place in your life. There is no foothold for them because the foothold for them is going to be the foothold of the devil because the only thing they're going to speak into you is lies. The only thing they're going to speak into you is brokenness and pain. But do you remember when you were like this? Do you remember when you did this? Do you remember this time in your life when you weren't the person who you're claiming to be now? No. Cut those people out. If they do not look at you and see a new creation, if they don't look at you and see strength and power and calling and purpose, if they don't look at you and encourage you in that, then they have no room in your life. And I will say this, I would rather have no one in my life than have those people in my life. And I've gone through seasons where those are the only people I've had in my life. I've gone through another season where I had no one in my life. And I've gone through a season where I now have many, many people in my life who are encouraging and who are strong and who love me. I've gone through every single season, and I can say with authority and with honesty, I would rather have no one in my life if those are the only people that I have in my life are the ones speaking negatively into who I am. I would rather have no one. I know y'all are. That's why now I feel like I can get on Scope way more than I can get on my Facebook. I can talk about this stuff. I can talk about that openly and honestly. If you aren't in a place where you feel like you can talk about your worst moments safely and be protected when you talk about that stuff, you need to tighten up the security of your inner circle. And that's something God really has convicted me of. And I posted on the blog today, themommycalling.com, is my last week's review of this fasting. And one day last week, I unfriended over 200 people on Facebook. This right here, everything I've talked about, the last scope in this one, this is not stuff that happened 2 months ago, 2 years ago. Hey, Brazil, how are you? This is recent. This is this morning. This is yesterday. This is last week. Y'all, this is right now stuff. This is right now stuff that I'm going through, that I'm dealing with, that the Lord is speaking to me about. I'm not coming to you saying these things with complete and total healing. I'm not coming to you speaking these things completely and totally released from all of the things that have happened to me. If I do not feel safe with people, I no longer talk to them. Amen. Number one rule. Boundaries. Boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. And I've had people tell me boundaries are stupid. I've had people tell me you're ridiculous for having so many boundaries on your relationships and on your friends. You know what I do to those people? Bye, Felicia. Bye. If you don't respect my boundaries, you don't have a place in my life. You don't have a place in my life. I've come way too far. I've come through way too much. I am getting to a way too good place to let somebody else come in and disrespect who I am and what I believe and what I'm doing, to come in and try to tear that down. I am doing great. I'm talking about this book that I got last night, Psychopath Free. It's about healing from emotionally abusive relationships with sociopaths, narcissists, and toxic people. And so I am sharing about some of my testimony and how this is really, really encouraging to me. Yes, keep your space, keep it sacred. You are the one who controls the environment of your space. You are the gatekeeper for who comes in and out of your life. You are the one who allows people to speak life or death into you. If someone speaks death into you, you reject that immediately. You do not repeat that. And look, y'all know that is new for me. I'm so glad, Simply Humble. I'm so glad. This is new to me. And y'all know this. For those of you who have been on my scopes from the beginning to now, what did I do differently in my scopes at the beginning? What did I do differently? And I still do it, and people call me out on it. I would say things that other people believed about me, but I would speak authority into that. I would speak authority into that while everybody was watching, and people would say, nope, reject it, reject it, reject it. Do not speak those words into authority in your life. Yes, boundaries are limits. Boundaries are limits. No, don't feel bad. Feel free to ask. Feel free to ask if I say a word that you don't know. I do a lot of work with internationals. I'm very compassionate to the language barriers. Boundaries are limits. That's what you allow to happen. And so if someone is doing something you deem inappropriate, you don't allow that to happen. That's a boundary. Awesome. I know lots of people from Brazil. I'm going to have to come visit Brazil and see all of my friends over there. I'm going to have to come visit. Y'all are awesome. Y'all have a great culture over there. It's like way intense for me, but I would love to come and visit again. This is all new for me too, guys. I'm not coming to you saying that it's easy. I'm not coming to you saying that I never mess up. I'm not coming to you saying, you know what? 6 months ago, I was in a relationship, another relationship since my marriage with this person. I was in another relationship with a psychopath. Guys, I did it again. Do you know the difference? This time I walked away from it. So I don't beat myself up for putting myself in that position again. I don't beat myself up. I walked away. That is 10 million times better than anything I did before. You know, I did it. I conquered it. I overcame it. Done. I don't have to beat myself up over the fact that I did it again. And I will continue to press forward, and I will continue to learn. I will continue to grow. I will continue to heal. I will continue to do the things that I need to do when it comes to preparing myself for my ministry, for preparing myself for this godly marriage that is coming whenever it comes. Yes. Much better person for it. Much better person for it. This is how I can empathize with other people. Because I know I've been there. I've felt it. I've done it. I've made so many mistakes myself. I've put myself in and kept myself in so many terrible positions. There's no way that I could judge anyone for the decisions that they are making. I understand addiction. I understand manipulation. I understand pain and hurt. I understand all of those things. I understand their power over you. I understand. I understand it's hard. It's not easy. So I'm getting to a place where I used to always say, always, I don't understand how people could look at their life and say, I wouldn't change a thing. Because I would have gone back and changed everything. Everything. And I would have. I would have changed my parents. I would have changed the fact that I was raised by an emotionally abusive father and a mentally ill mother. I would have changed the abuse that happened to me. I would have changed the friendships that I had. I would have changed where I lived. I would have changed everything, everything, everything. Everything. I'm so glad that God had the wisdom and the grace and the discernment and the power to put me where I was, because today, every single thing that I would go back and change is being used for purpose, is being used for glory. Can I say that I would never change anything that's happened to me? No, I can't say that. I can't say that honestly. I can say that every single thing that's happened in my life is being restored. That everything that's happened is being used. See, it has made you who you are today, and I get that. But my thing is, I would rather be who I am today without going through all the crap that I've had to go through. Without feeling all of the pain that I felt. Without being around the people that I was around. I'm like, God, you could have done that to me without having to make me go through all of those other things. And there are some things that I put myself in the position of. And God stepped back and said, you do you. I'll be here waiting when you get back. And especially in those moments, I would have changed everything. I would have followed God. I would have listened to His plan instead of going off on my own and doing what He did not desire of me and doing the things that I should not have done. I would 100% go back and change all of those things. But at the same time, God restores those moments, and God's using those things in my life, in my testimony, in my ministry. I don't need any more testimony at this point. I'm like, God, I'm good. I'm good. No more testimony. I've got it covered. I've got the whole spectrum covered. Okay. Let's just move in to the ministry aspect and let's just settle in there. Let me settle into my marriage. Let me settle into my future. Let me settle into my hope. I'm good. I've got the testimony aspect of my life covered. I've got 30 years worth of crazy experiences that most people don't go through. I don't need any more. Doing things my way never worked for me. Me neither. Me neither. Yet I kept trying. I kept trying it. Hey, Simply Humble. Welcome back. My voice is literally not making it today. Not making it today. My goodness. I'm so glad we can have these conversations though. It's so freeing. Okay, I did want to read some of this book. I'm going to read some of it. I'm going to read the 30 red flags. I might not read all of them because that's kind of long. But I want to read some of these because I want people to understand And it sounds like y'all do understand, but I want people to understand what it's like, where I'm coming from, me personally. Because when people hear my stories, I want them to know this is what I've felt in my life. Nothing explains it better than these words. I don't know if I could even speak these words better myself, trying to put it into words. And that never happens because y'all know I can speak a lot. All right. This is the 30 red flags of toxic people. So whoever was asking, I forget who it was, what is a toxic person? These are some signs of toxic people. Gaslighting and crazy making. They blatantly deny their own manipulative behavior and ignore evidence when confronted with it. They become dismissive and critical if you attempt to disprove their fabrications with facts. I can give so many examples of that. They do not address their inappropriate behavior. It always becomes your fault for being sensitive and crazy. Is this resonating with anybody? Sure. Look, I might give this book for everybody. Toxic people condition you to believe the problem isn't the abuse, but your reactions to the abuse. Anybody? All right, number 2. Cannot put themselves in your shoes or anyone else's for that matter. You find yourself desperately trying to explain how they might feel if you were treating them this way and they just stare at you blankly. You slowly learn not to communicate your feelings with them because you're usually met with silence or annoyance. How many times was I trying to explain to my ex-husband why he was hurting me, how it was hurting me, and he would just stare at me like I was insane. Number 3, we're doing the red flags of toxic people from this book. These are the red flags. Invite people. I want people to hear this. The ultimate hypocrite. Number 3, do as I say, not as I do. They have extremely high expectations for fidelity, respect, and adoration. Anybody? After the ideation phase, they will give none of this back to you. They cheat, lie, criticize, manipulate. But you are expected to remain perfect. Anybody? This is so my ex-husband. They expect you to remain perfect. Otherwise, you will be replaced and deemed unstable. I lived my life afraid to say or do anything, because I was the unstable one. Look, all of these. I'm going to keep going. Number 4, pathological lying and excuses, which these are so hard to spot because it seems like truth in the moment, but there's always an excuse for everything, even things that don't require excusing. This was my life. Is this anybody else's life? This is my life with my ex-husband. They make up lies faster than you can question them. This book is $8 on Amazon right now. Hello, how are you? They constantly blame others. It's never their fault. They spend more time rationalizing their behavior than improving it. Even when caught in a lie, they express no remorse or embarrassment. Oftentimes, it seems as if they wanted you to catch them. My ex-husband used to get a thrill out of me catching him in a lie. This is the book. Psychopath Free. This is the expanded edition. It's recovering from emotionally abusive relationships with narcissists, sociopaths, and other toxic people. All right, number 5, y'all. This is only number 5. And aren't these good? This is 100% what it's like being in a relationship with a psychopath, sociopath, narcissist, toxic person. They focus on your mistakes and ignore their own. If you're 2 hours late, if they're 2 hours late, don't forget that you were once 5 minutes late to your first date. Yes, I got it at Barnes & Noble for $16. It's $8 on Amazon. If you point out their inappropriate behavior, they will always be quick to turn the conversation back on you. But you did this. You might begin to adopt perfectionist qualities, very aware of any mistake can and will be used against you. I was never a perfectionist until I got married, and it wasn't until I got divorced that I realized how big of a perfectionist I was, because I lived my life afraid of making any mistake. Number 6, you find yourself explaining the basic elements of human respect to a full-grown man or woman. Y'all, my life. Normal people understand fundamental concepts like honesty and kindness. Psychopaths appear to be childlike and innocent, but don't let the mask fool you. No adult should need to be told how he or she is making other people feel. Y'all, that one resonates with me. My ex, who is a diagnosed sociopath, was so charming. He was so cute. And so charming. And he would look at you with these big old eyes and the smirk on his face that I learned was pure evil, while I had to explain to him that he was not being kind, that lying was not okay, that he couldn't treat me the way that he treated me. And he would laugh when he made me cry. Laugh. A look of joy would come on his face. I never saw him smile until he made me cry. That was the only time he would ever smile, was if I was crying. He would get this smile on his face that haunts me. It haunts me to this day, because I never ever saw him smile unless I was crying and unless I was broken. Yes, this will help so many women. Everyone, I'm telling you, even if you're just in leadership or ministry, you need this book to understand what people are going through. Number 7. We're only on number 7, y'all. Yes. Look, I'm so thankful that God placed this resource in my hands, you guys. I'm going to do a review of it on my blog too. Selfishness and a crippling thirst for attention. They drain the energy from you. They consume your entire life. Their demand for adoration is insatiable. You thought you were the only one who could make them happy, but now you feel that anyone with a beating pulse could fit that role. However, the truth is, no one can fill the void of a psychopath soul. No one can fill the void of a psychopath's soul. That needs to resonate with somebody. Accuses you of feeling emotions that are intentionally provoking. This one for me, y'all. This one every day. They call you jealous after blatantly flirting with an ex. Often done over social networking for the entire world to see. They call you needy after intentionally ignoring you for days on end. I was ignored constantly. I was ignored so much in my marriage, and then he would call me needy. He would call me clingy. He would call me all of these negative things. He would tell me that I was jealous after seeing him flirting with students. He was a teacher. After seeing him flirting with students, after he would leave emails open from female students on his computer for me to find, he would tell me that I was a snoop. He would tell me that I didn't trust him. They use your manufactured reactions. They set you up for these reactions. They use your manufactured reactions to garner sympathy from other targets. He would go tell his friends, listen how crazy my wife is. Listen how crazy she is. Trying to prove how hysterical you've become. Y'all, my life. That was my life. You probably once considered yourself to be an exceptionally easygoing person, but an encounter with a psychopath will temporarily turn that notion upside down. I am so excited about this book. We are only on number 8, you guys, and this is every single thing I've been through in my life with my marriage. Every single thing. This one for sure. You find yourself playing detective. It's never happened in another relationship, but suddenly you're investigating the person you once trusted unconditionally. If they're active on Facebook, you start scrolling back years on their posts and albums. Anybody? Is this resonating with anybody? The same with their ex. You're seeking answers to a feeling that you can't quite explain. You have a feeling inside of you, but you've been told not to trust your feelings. Anybody else? I was told, you're irrational, you're crazy. Don't trust that voice inside of you. That inner voice cannot be trusted. That inner voice was never wrong for me. Was never wrong for me. There were things that my inner voice was telling me from the very beginning that I pushed to the side as me being irrational, as me projecting, as me being, being crazy, being manipulative. Everything he made me believe that I was. After our divorce, all of those things came to light, and I was right from the very beginning. Number 10, and this is so me with my ex. You are the only one who sees their true colors. No matter what they do, they always seem to have a fan club cheering for them. The psychopath uses these people for money, resources, or attention, but the fan club won't notice because this person strategically distracts them with shallow praise. Psychopaths are able to maintain superficial friendships for longer than relationships. Because, dude, my ex was so cute. He was so charming. He was so wonderful. He seemed so nice. He seemed so gentle. He seemed so quiet. He seemed like all of those things. Until it was just me and him. Until it was just me and him at home. For those of you who are just joining, this is the book I'm reading from, Psychopath Free. I'm reading The Red Flags of Toxic People. We are on number 11. This is my life. I was married for 5 years to a diagnosed sociopath. And so as I'm reading these, every single one of these is what I went through in my life. Setting up my prayer wall. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I'm going to continue reading. Number 11. You cannot judge a book by its cover. You can judge this one. This is a good book. It has a good cover. It's a good book. No. Yes, you cannot judge people by the outward appearances. Never, never. You fear that any fight could be your last. Normal couples argue to resolve issues. This is why I never understood fighting. This is why I never understood arguments. Because this was my life growing up. This is what I saw in my parents. And this is what I had in my marriage. Psychopaths make it clear that negative conversations will jeopardize the relationship, especially ones regarding their behavior. Any of your attempts to improve communication will typically result in the silent treatment. So you apologize and forgive quickly. Otherwise, you know they'll lose interest in you. I used to call him out on something he did wrong and then apologize over and over and over and over, saying, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it. I'm so sorry. That's not who you are. I don't know why I said that. I don't know why I thought that. Like, I promise I won't ever say that again. I won't ever do that again. I was so afraid to even talk. I was so afraid to tell him that I was hurt. I was so afraid to tell him any of these things because he kept ignoring me. It keeps freezing. Oh, dang it. You can go back and watch the replay. Normally the replay, it does not freeze on you, but I really hope that it's not freezing for anybody else. Number 12, slowly and steadily erodes your boundaries. Who wrote this book? Jackson McKenzie. Jackson McKenzie. I will show you the cover again. There you go. Jackson McKenzie. It's called Psychopath Free. They criticize you with a condescending, joking sort of attitude. Anybody else? It seems lighthearted. It seems funny. It seems like a joke. Hey, Jeremy, how are you? They smirk when you try to express yourself. Yes, freedom for all of us. Oh, goodness. Yeah, you can come back and watch the replay. I'm on number 12. I'm reading the 30 red flags for toxic people out of this book. The condescending tone. They make you feel like a child. They make you feel like you're 2 years old and you don't know the truth and you don't know how you should be treated and you don't know what's going on. Like you just are completely lost in reality and they know everything and they're the authority and they have to tell you how to function in life. Look, this is not just with marriages. This is not just with relationships. This is with friendships as well. This is with anybody that you allow in your circle. This could be family members. This could be parents. This could be siblings. This could be children. If you have older children, you could have children that treat you this way, especially with elderly parents. So many of their children treat them in this way, and they need to be set free from that. They need to know. They smirk at you when you express yourself. Teasing becomes the primary mode of communication. That right there, teasing. Yes. They subtly belittle your intelligence and your abilities. If you point this out, they call you sensitive and crazy. That's the main one, guys. They say, you're crazy. You're just too sensitive. You just need to calm down. You just need to not react this way. I am so thankful. I am so thankful. Hey, what's up? I am reading the 30 red flags from this book, Psychopath Free. Or you're too vulnerable. Amen. You're just comparing me to all those people in your past. How about that one? That is one that I heard constantly. You keep treating me like I'm all these other people, but that's not it. That's not why. It was because you recognize in them the things that you dealt with other people, and you don't want to deal with it anymore. And you try to call them out, but heaven forbid you call them out because they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. Number 11. They withhold attention and undermine your self-esteem. After once showering you with nonstop attention and admiration, they suddenly seem completely bored by you. They treat you with silence and become very annoyed that you're interested in continuing the passionate relationship that they created. You begin to feel like a chore to them. Like I shared earlier, my ex-husband and I, we lived together for a year before we were married, and we were married for 5 years. When we were living together, we had sex all the time. Everything was